Hello everyone, it's me Josh. Welcome to Story Time. Super excited to be here. Are you? Yeah? Oh, that's what I like to hear. Some no's out there. You guys being silly? Alright, today we're going to be reading Little Miss Neat from the Little Miss library of books for all you little misses and Mr. Men out there. I'm looking forward to delving into this. I hope you are too. I love reading books. So get comfortable, get ready wherever you are, because we're about to delve into story time. That's right. Let's go. Little Miss Neat was a very tidy person. Probably the tidiest person in the world. She lived in Two Pin Cottage. It was called Two Pin Cottage because she kept it as neat as two pins. She just couldn't stand a mess. Every day she spent all day polishing and dusting and cleaning and making sure that things were in their proper places. There's Little Miss Neat. I think maybe cleaning the wallpaper. One morning, Little Miss Neat awoke in her bedroom at Two Pin Cottage. She looked out of her bedroom window. It had been raining during the night and there was a puddle in the middle of her garden path. You can see Little Miss Neat up in the window there, looking down to the puddle. Oh! She gasped in horror and rushed outside with a duster. She mopped up every drop of puddle and then she rushed inside and washed the duster. And then she ironed the duster and then she folded the duster. And then she placed the duster very neatly back in its drawer. Everything in Two Pin Cottage had its proper place. Miss Neat rushing there to clean up. It's good to be neat, because when everything has a proper place, you remember where all of those little things are and you don't run the risk of losing them or misplacing them. Yeah. We got some neat freaks out there. We like to be neat and clean and tidy. Awesome. That's good. Now this story is about the time Little Miss Neat went on holiday. Love holidays. She always went away for 1 week every summer, and this year was no different. She spent 2 weeks packing, and then she spent a whole day polishing her suitcase. And then off she set, leaving Two Pin Cottage all spick and spam and neat and tidy. Little Miss Neat looks happy. Oh, I hope it doesn't get too dusty while I'm away, she thought as she closed the door behind her. But something worse than dusty was going to happen at Two Pin Cottage. Would you like to know what? Yeah? Alright, let's find out. Mr. Muddle came to tea. Uh-oh. He'd written to Miss Neat to tell her, but being Mr. Muddle, he somehow got into a muddle posting the letter. Actually, what happened was that when Mr. Muddle went to post the letter and he had the letter in one hand and a half-eaten sandwich in the other, you can guess what happened, can't you? That's right. He posted the sandwich. A posted cheese sandwich. Mr. Muddle always got his things muddled. It'll be nice seeing Miss Neat again, he chuckled to himself as he walked home. This sandwich is a bit chewy, he thought. You can see the worm laughing there because poor Mr. Muddle started to eat a letter. Uh-oh. It was the day after Miss Neat left that Mr. Muddle arrived. He walked up the garden path of Two Pin Cottage and knocked at the door. No reply. Goodbye, he shouted. It should have been hello, but he isn't called Mr. Muddle for nothing. Nobody home? He called. He pushed open the door. Oh dear, he thought as he looked around. Nobody home. Never mind, he thought. I'll make myself a cup of tea and wait for Miss Neat. He's just let himself in, making himself a cup of tea, hanging out, waiting for Miss Neat. So he went into the kitchen of Two Pin Cottage, made himself a cup of tea and waited. And waited. And waited. And waited. And then went home. Oof, I could go a cup of tea and maybe a little bit of lunch. I'm starving. Little Miss Neat stepped out of a taxi outside Two Pin Cottage. That was a lovely holiday, she said, paying the taxi driver, but it's nice to be home. She walked up the garden path and went in through the door. I wonder what little Miss Neat's gonna walk into when she gets home. Not too dusty, she said to herself, looking around. I think I'll make myself a nice cup of tea before I start unpacking. But making tea after Mr. Muddle visits isn't quite as easy as it sounds. Little Miss Neat eventually found the teapot, not in its proper place. So do you think Mr. Muddle might have misplaced or muddled, so to speak, Little Miss Neat's stuff all around her house? Yeah. Let's find out where all of this stuff is. Poor Little Miss Neat. It's going to be in a world of her own trying to sort this out. In the refrigerator. That's where she found the teapot. She eventually found the milk, not in its proper place, in the teapot. And the tea in the sugar bowl, and the sugar in the milk jug, and a cup in the oven. Okay. And a saucer in the bread bin. But could she find a teaspoon? She could not. Look, she's pouring milk out of the teapot there. It was found in the fridge. I don't know, maybe putting a teapot in the fridge if you wanted to keep something cold, but hot tea's nice, I guess. Come on, Mr. Muddle. The telephone rang. Little Miss Neat picked it up. "Hello," she said. At the other end of the line, Mr. Muddle suddenly realised he was holding the telephone the wrong way round. He turned it the right way round. "Goodbye," he said. "Who's that?" asked Miss Neat. "It's you," replied Mr. Muddle. Miss Neat thought, "It's Mr. Muddle, isn't it?" She guessed. "Yes," replied Mr. Muddle, getting it right for once. "And you paid me a visit while I was away on holiday, didn't you?" She guessed again. "Yes," replied Mr. Muddle, getting it right for twice. "Can I come and see you now you're back?" "I suppose so," sighed Miss Neat. "Goodbye." "Hello," said Mr. Muddle, and put the phone down. Mr. Muddle's a little bit backwards, isn't he? Yeah. Little Miss Neat sighed a heavy sigh and sat down in the armchair next to the telephone. Ouch! She looked underneath the cushion. I don't know what she's going to find. There were all her teaspoons and knives and forks. I don't think Little Miss Neat will be taking a holiday next year, do you? So Mr. Muddle had put all of her knives, forks and teaspoons from the kitchen, all of her cutlery, it's also called, put it into the chair. I wonder how and why and just the process for that, hey? Let's find out what happens in the next book. I'll be back really soon with another. We'll follow on more in the Little Miss library, and I look forward to that. Hope you do too. I'll be back again with another story. Bye for now, not forever. Be well, stay positive and have fun. See ya.